on a documentary. I think a lot of people thought that he was just joking around. It turns out he's not. So this is actually a real project that's being made under his G-Unit movie.
So how would you feel about me telling people that I'm single? Because we go together.
We knew young Miami could turn heads, but nobody expected her to turn the tables. Least of all on Diddy, the man who, just last year, seemed untouchable atop his empire of private jets, luxury mansions, and legendary all-nighters. But here we are, watching a split so vicious, so brazen, it feels like a crime drama you'd binge until sunrise. It starts with the money, always the money. Nearly $500,000 every month transferred out of Diddy's fortress and into Miami's world. The kind of hush payment that's got accountants sweating and lawyers circling. Officially, it was a girlfriend stipend. Unofficially, it was insurance. Her silence was gold, and Diddy, the king of calculated moves, knew he needed to buy it. But then the walls began to close in. Diddy's funds dried up fast. His legal teams bled cash, and suddenly that sweet regular payment vanished. When Miami realized the faucet was off for good, she did what any player who knows where the bodies are buried would do. She struck back, demanding a staggering $500 million from the man who once called her his ride or perish.
Like if you and Diddy were in a scene together, what would that scene look like? Would it be romance? Would it be?
It'd be baby boy.
This isn't a simple breakup gone nuclear, it's a battle of secrets where both sides hold grenades, and the courtroom, it's turned into the hottest club in Manhattan, packed with reporters, burned out lawyers, and a judge whose eyebrows have apparently reached escape velocity. The air crackled when Miami's legal team slid those new documents across the polished wood, proof they claimed that Diddy owed her more than back pay. Eyes darted to the judge, who, as insiders later whispered, looked like she'd just been told the tooth fairy was real and moonlights as an FBI informant. But here's the twist that's got the press. Well, Miami isn't painting herself as a victim. She isn't weeping on the stand pleading ignorance. She's coming in loaded, fighting for every cent, every ounce of leverage, and not blinking when cross-examined about the true nature of her connection to the Diddy operation.
Dishonest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers describe the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious trafficking charges in a New York court.
Of course, as the filings fly, the question starts to gnaw at us. Was young Miami ever just another name on the payroll? Or was she sitting in the boardroom when the real plans got made? 3 industry insiders, all former staffers who worked those legendary freak-off weekends, insist Miami didn't just attend the parties. She ran the guest list. According to the amended lawsuit from producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, Diddy bragged about having several women on a monthly stipend. Miami's name is right there, as is her role in allegedly transporting pink party powder on his behalf. She flat out denied those claims, firing back on social media, "I'm not a worker, I never sold a day in my life." But the whispers in the gallery are louder than ever. Did she supply more than just good company? Did she recruit? Was she the one sending texts at 3 a.m. making sure the right people arrived and the wrong people stayed out? Nobody can say for sure, and yet nobody seems willing to say she's blameless. Miami's sudden legal aggression, demanding $500 million, looks less like a power move and more like a last-ditch effort to keep herself from being named in the next round of indictments. The timing is uncanny, almost synchronized with the feds circling Diddy, the raids on his LA and Miami estates, and the mounting chorus of women and former assistants lining up to testify. Is this a cash grab, a preemptive strike, or just pure survival instinct? Either way, it's working. The courtroom tension has hit a fever pitch. Cameras catch the moments when Miami and Diddy lock eyes, and it's like watching 2 poker sharks bluff each other into oblivion. The judge? She's seen enough NDAs waved around to last a lifetime and, by all accounts, is in utter shock as one bailiff was heard muttering outside the chamber.
Right now is going through a number of different reasons. Again, very quick reporting indicates that the judge is citing to the defense attorney's own statements during the case that Sean Combs is a violent person, has had violent personal relationships. But of course, the defense said that doesn't mean he's guilty of racketeering. It looks like the judge is now using those statements to say he should be.
What makes the whole circus even wilder is that Miami, who just months ago kept a painfully low profile, has suddenly been spotted on the arm of Stephon Diggs, star wide receiver for the Houston Texans. Paparazzi got the shots. Miami at Carbone, drink in hand. Diggs lurking in the shadows. Then the Instagram story, hastily deleted neon happy birthday sign flashing for his 31st. The tabloids are losing their minds. Is this a rebound, or is she making moves on the chessboard, cozying up to an athlete with a cleaner rap sheet just as Diddy's world catches fire? A former City Girls manager tells us that's not coincidence, it's strategy. Miami even wore Diggs' custom sneakers to a Tekkens game, drawing just enough attention to be noticed, but not enough to give a quote. The rumor mills never had it so good. But we're not about to let her off the hook as a scorned partner suddenly in love with Sunday football. Diggs' timing is as perfect as his routes. He enters the scene exactly when Miami's name appears in court filings, and gossip blogs link her to Diddy's most disturbing parties. It's enough to make anyone wonder, is this real love? Or a clever rebranding before the subpoenas start flying? Miami's publicist won't say a word, but the fact remains her visibility has shot through the roof, and nobody can ignore the optics. It's as if she's taking cover behind Diggs, using the NFL shield as her new bulletproof vest.
Did you all move on from such a public relationship and keep it all private? Like, there was no spill out, there was no mess, there was nothing for us to write about on Hollywood.
Meanwhile, Diddy sits in the dock, an empire in tatters, $500 million on the line, his legal team fighting a war on 3 fronts, criminal charges, civil suits, and now the high-profile betrayal of a partner who knows every backdoor and burner phone in his operation. The judge listens as Miami's lawyers argue she's owed compensation for more than just her silence. They argue she's been dragged through the media, implicated by association, but here's the kicker, they never actually say she's innocent. We all know why. Too many stories, too many rumors, too many blurry iPhone videos. A juror told one tabloid reporter, every time someone opens their mouth, the stakes double.
Referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil, Astroglide.
And still, the rumors about Miami's own involvement don't fade. Recruiter, one ex-bodyguard claimed. Gatekeeper, said another. A third, who refused to go on the record, described her as the party planner nobody wanted to cross. No charges have landed on her yet. But as the judge sifts through evidence, stunned by the scale of the payments, everyone in the room is wondering who's playing who. Diddy's legal bills mount, his cash reserves dwindle, and every day brings a new headline. A missing wire transfer here, an unexplained absence there. If Miami gets her way, she won't just be rich. She'll have rewritten her entire role in the saga. And now the spectacle has become a referendum on both of them. For Diddy, this might be the final crack that brings his world crashing down. For Miami, it's either the ultimate hustle or the biggest bluff in showbiz history. We can't look away, and neither can the rest of the world. Because if this lawsuit blows open the vault on Diddy's secrets, nobody, least of all Miami, gets to walk out clean.
Trying to find her, and her attorney has said that she may not be willing to come and testify anyway, so
be interesting. Okay, we're moving on.
What started as a financial feud has now sent tremors through Diddy's inner circle, a place where loyalty was once rewarded with private flights and diamond watches, but now feels more like a haunted house with locked doors and whispered secrets. We're hearing that those closest to Diddy are scrambling for legal cover, dialing up attorneys and erasing old text faster than you can say plea bargain. The old school crew, the ones who boasted about being untouchable for decades, have gone underground. One former road manager insists that people are flipping. No one wants to be the last man standing. Even the security team, usually invisible, is now more visible than ever, tailing Diddy with the intensity of people who know there's more at stake than just a lost reputation.
because we now know who all the prosecutors will be on Diddy's trial. They're all women. They have assembled a team of female prosecutors, and that is definitely not.
The panic is contagious. As Miami's lawsuit lit up the tabloids, old associates from every layer of Diddy's empire started whispering to journalists and prosecutors alike. We've heard the phrase Pandora's box thrown around more in the last week than in a decade of showbiz scandals. One late-night phone call and the right nudge from a federal agent could tip this from a star-on-star showdown into a tidal wave of tell-alls, sealed depositions, and surprise witness lists. A few years ago, nobody believed a woman in Miami's position would ever break the code of silence. Now, the dominoes are lined up. Will her move inspire others to come clean? Or is she just the first in a long parade of people with stories to sell and NDAs ready to be torn in half? Diddy's own handlers are reportedly bracing for even more betrayals. The people who once ran his parties, booked the jets, and managed the payout spreadsheets have started to treat each other like rivals instead of colleagues. Everyone is worried about the same thing. If Miami is bold enough to go public with receipts, who else is going to walk into that courtroom with a stack of emails and a tale to tell? Prosecutors are said to be monitoring every new lawsuit, every sudden media leak, and every DM that smells like a tip-off. We've seen this play before. One public break and the whole operation becomes a race to see who can cut the best deal before the music stops.
Interestingly, we haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
But as the legal aftershocks ripple outward, the real story might be the slow, ugly collapse of Diddy's financial kingdom. His bank accounts, once so flush they could bankroll a small country, have reportedly started running on fumes. Multiple sources say the mountain of legal fees, criminal defense, civil suits, crisis PR, has turned his team into a revolving door of accountants, each one waving a fresh bill. Diddy's own bail requests have been denied again and again, and each time he fails to buy his way out, creditors start circling a little closer. A few music industry execs, who once called him the most liquid man in the business, now call him the most leveraged. Nobody's confirming the numbers, but insiders are whispering about unpaid debts, desperate attempts to offload real estate, and even disputes with former friends who want their money back. Some say it's poetic justice. The man who used cash as a weapon, now caught in a trap of his own design, unable to pay off the very people he used to keep quiet. One business partner, who asked to stay anonymous, described the mood inside Bad Boy Records as apocalyptic. He says deals are falling apart, endorsement partners are walking away, and the only thing moving fast is the rumor mill. No one wants to be left holding the bag, he says. The domino effect is visible in every corner. Sudden layoffs, abrupt meetings canceled, company cars returned in the middle of night. A few former associates even claim Diddy's own family is pressuring him to cut losses and step back before there's nothing left but lawsuits and headlines.
I'm not speaking on it because I don't care. I'm not getting into
You're
it.
unbothered.
I don't, I don't.
And what about the payments to Young Miami? They're just a small piece of the puzzle, a symptom of a much larger collapse. When Diddy cut off that stream, it wasn't just a breakup. It was a public signal that the well was finally dry. In this world, everyone gets nervous when the money stops flowing. Because when it does, secrets have a way of leaking out. The failed hush payment, the lawsuit, the mounting sense of desperation, they're all signs of a collapsing empire. And Miami's $500 million demand is just the opening salvo in a legal battle, where the stakes are nothing short of survival. But even as the headlines focus on Diddy's fall, the microscope swings back to Miami's own shadowy role in his network. We all remember the court filings that accused her of transporting pink party powder on private jets, allegedly at Diddy's request. The details, lurid as they are, point to a larger question. Was Miami a pawn in Diddy's twisted games, or was she a key player? The lawsuit from Rodney Lil Rod Jones didn't mince words, naming her directly. Plaintiff Jones personally witnessed Mr. Combs do a few lines, then called Young Miami, who brought it on the private jet. Miami has denied it with classic Miami style, direct, defiant, and sharp. But the rumors won't let up. Every week, another source surfaces with claims that she coordinated flights, made introductions, and kept the schedule for those infamous freak-off weekends.
And what's really going to be interesting is the parade of celebrities who we expect to be mentioned and or called into that courtroom. You know, people who we hadn't heard about prior, like Mike Myers, Austin Powers, Mike Myers. Why is he getting called? Why is he on the witness list? That'll be fascinating. And then, of course, there are the no-name, quote unquote, women who are going to have to find every ounce of courage they have.
Of course, it's easy to play the victim after the fact, to demand justice only once the money stops arriving on schedule. That's the real tension running through this saga. Miami may have suffered, but did she also profit? Was she forced into these roles, or did she step into them willingly? 3 different insiders, none with anything left to lose, claim she was more than just an observer. A former assistant remembers her bossing people around at 2 a.m., and an old booking agent calls her the main line to Diddy when things got wild. That's not the story Miami is telling in court, but then again, she's not the one facing a grand jury, at least not yet. And what does that make her? Is Miami a whistleblower, bravely standing up to the man who wronged her? Or is she the ultimate opportunist, cashing out when the empire began to fall, selling her silence and then her secrets? The hypocrisy is hard to miss. She's demanding justice for herself while sidestepping any questions about the people she may have helped recruit, the substances she may have helped transport, and the role she played in keeping Diddy's secrets safe for so long. Her lawsuit is a masterstroke of timing, filed just as the feds circled closer and right as public sympathy might swing her away. If that's not playing the game at the highest level, we don't know what is.
It's probably leaning towards guilt. Now, on the racketeering, I agree with you that the predicate acts may be found, but that's not all they need. There's an ultimate question. The first question on the jury verdict form is, do you find him guilty or not guilty of racketeering? Before you even get to the predicate acts, which you only get to if you find guilt, they could just be hung up on that question and say, this guy's not Tony Soprano. I am not convinced that I even want to find guilt.
With the courtroom chaos swirling, one truth stands out. There are no innocents here, only survivors. Diddy supporters say he's being targeted, a victim of vendettas and jealous former friends. Miami's camp insists she's finally standing up for herself. But to everyone on the outside, the lines have blurred. Both sides played the fame game, both profited from the excess, and both are now trapped in the fallout. The judge watches it all unfold, the prosecutors quietly building new cases in the background, and the rest of the industry holds its breath, wondering who will be the next to flip, the next to file, the next to try to cut a deal before the walls come tumbling down. As Diddy's lawyers trade barbs with Miami's in open court, old friends turn into enemies, and former allies rush to cover their tracks, we're left asking the question everyone else is afraid to put on record. Who's going to survive the fallout, and who's going down next? Because if Miami's move opens Pandora's box, and all signs point to yes, there's no telling what hidden deals, old grudges, and lost fortunes are going to spill out next. The music industry's biggest scandal just keeps growing, swallowing careers, reputations, and fortunes in its wake. Now, with Diddy's fortune on the edge, Miami's motives under a microscope, and everyone else running for cover, we're left wondering, will her lawsuit finally bring down the bad boy king? Or will her own skeletons drag her down before she ever gets paid? Are we watching the final chapter of a decades-long saga, or just the beginning of a much darker story about power, loyalty, and the price of silence? So we want to hear from you. Whose side are you on? Is young Miami a hero, a hustler, or just another player caught in the storm? And what secrets do you think are still buried, waiting to explode? Drop your wildest theories and hottest takes in the comments. Trust us, the story is just getting started. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, in this world, nothing is ever what it seems.